already know. Fellow Toastmasters, you already know that we have a great club. I'll just highlight some of the things that make us a great club, and I wish we had guests here tonight because this would be a real selling point.
Sure.
First of all, for years now, our club has been accomplishing the 10 requirements that are needed for the Distinguished Club program. When we have area and division events, our club has a big presence there. They are either participating or they are there as volunteers. The dignitaries of the area and the division speak very highly of our members and of our club. So we already know that we're a great club. Why would I be presenting to you the things that Toastmasters International talks to us about creating the best club climate? Because I want our club to stay really great. And sometimes we can start taking those things for granted that we kind of do naturally. And maybe you don't know that Toastmasters International places high value on very simple skills that we already do. So that's why I want to share that, so that we don't go lax in keeping our club the very best. Now, Patty, if you would help me out, I have a handout that I'd like to give you. But one of the reasons I have chosen to speak on this topic is because from the Successful Club Manual, it says that a club's climate is the deciding factor in whether or not guests become members or whether those members continue to participate and remain active. That's a big deal when it talks about the club climate. And what I think helps us, so we can always have as a reminder, is what Patty is handing out to us. On one side, you're going to have the checklist. Don't pay attention to that now. I'll use that later. But the side that I want to talk about is the mission statement and the Toastmaster promise. Every week we get an agenda that has our mission statement on it. And every week somebody reads it. They're setting that bar high for us so that all of us know what is expected of us. So that's why I wrote the mission statement down here. But that, if coupled with the Toastmaster promise, I believe those things together are what help to create the best club climate that we can have. I want to highlight in the Toastmaster mission statement 2 words, very simple words that I think are very powerful. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, and these are the 2 words, resulting in self-confidence and personal growth. So if we have a climate that's positive and the best climate in our club, people are going to have self-confidence. They're going to grow personally. That is a big deal. And when all those things are in our members and they come together in a club, we have a great climate. Now, Toastmasters has 3 principles that they suggest for having that best club climate. One is to set an example. The second is to welcome our guests. And the third is to be able to show our members that we care about them. Do we already do that? Mm-hmm. We do. One of the things they say about setting a good example is arriving early. And fortunately, I can arrive early, but I know that everybody can't. But when you have the opportunity, arrive to the meeting early. There is a lot going on here. There are people talking about their goals. They're talking about the different accomplishments that they want to meet in the club. They're asking questions. There's other Toastmasters here being able to answer them. Another thing is, that coffee is the freshest. And that cookie plate is the fullest when you get here. Another thing as far as setting a good example is that you volunteer. And you can do that. If you show up early, there's someone not here, as Scott did tonight. He filled in for the timer. And those things that we volunteer for stretch us. So volunteer when those emails are sent out. That helps to make our club positive. Listen to Ron when he asks you, we need somebody to fill in for a club role. And then when the Toastmaster stands up here, go ahead and raise your hand and volunteer for that. We had Myra, who was our general evaluator last month, last week, and she had said that one of the things she thought we should do is to continue to applaud when the members come up and when they sit down. Toastmasters International recognizes that as a part of making a positive club climate. It's showing that we appreciate that person coming up here, that we appreciate that they're stepping out, that they are accomplishing their goals. So simple, simple things. But when we have a guest that walks through our door, Toastmasters International considers that person very important. And they should be welcome. I don't think we have any problem with that. I always see when the guest comes in here, there's people going over and they're wanting to know, how are you? What have you come here for? Did somebody invite you? Ask those kind of things. Engage that new person. Do you remember when you first came to this club and walking through that door? I can remember that. And often we think that the biggest accomplishment a person can make is to stand up here and make a speech. I want you to think about it. One of the biggest decisions a person can make, one of the bravest they can make, is to peek through that door, not knowing anything that's going on. So we walk over, we welcome them. Think about this, creating that best club climate. We are now telling that new person that came in that when you become part of our club, we're going to support you. It's so simple. Have them start over at the table, they do the guest book, they pick up a ballot, they pick up an agenda. You know, people are amazed that we do an agenda and that we follow it. Just those simple things to make our club climate the very best. And let them know that they can vote, because sometimes they're sitting back and they go, oh no, you don't want to know anything from me. Yes, we do. You have ears, you have an opinion. We want to know when we're up here how you're perceiving that. Let them know they can vote. And also that when it comes to table topics, they can come right up here. Some people are like, oh yeah, I can hardly wait. I came here to speak, let me up here now. And other people are like, no, I don't want to tell you my name. So just be sensitive to that guest that wants to either come up or just wants to sit back a little bit. That's fine. They can come to the club as long as they want to see that we really are a great fit for them. Now, we've talked about our guests, and sometimes when they come, they don't come back. That's okay. Always, if we give them that positive influence when they come in that door, they're going to remember, and our club and Toastmasters International is going to keep their great name. They may decide that Toastmasters is for them later. They may decide that it's for a friend of theirs when someone needs help, and they can offer the group because they've been here. So don't be discouraged when a guest does not come back, but we want to nurture that when they come. So now we've had a guest come in, and we don't ever have any trouble because we always like that new person, those new ideas. We just love that. But then what about the rest of us who are continuing members of Toastmaster? One of the principles of having a positive and the best club climate here is that we continue to show our members that we care. And one of the ways to do that is when they come in, if we come in early, we can talk with them. We can say, what are you doing? You know, ask someone, when's your next speech that you're doing? Maybe they're struggling. Maybe they're trying to find a topic that they want to talk about. So that a lot of that goes on when we show a person that we care. We've had Troy, he's done 2 speeches from Advanced Manual, and he needed people to participate with him in that speech. When he makes a call out for that, or if he asks you, can you help out with that, you can. That shows that we care about how this member is advancing. And I don't think that any of us have any trouble with being able to do the things that make this a positive club environment. Now, if you take this sheet of paper that I handed out and turn it over, you're going to see the model club checklist. Most of the stuff that I covered tonight is on here, so you can look through this and see if it's something that inspires you to maybe give some other ideas. If you have other ideas, talk to the officers and tell them. And speaking of officers elections are coming up. And if you want to help to create the best club climate, volunteer for that. Look and see what officer is doing something that you would like to do, that you're interested in. And go up to them and ask them if you can shadow them or if they'll talk to you about that. Let them know what's going on. Go to officers training. That's not just for the officers. We love having so many people from our club join us in those activities. And now I do just want to take a sidebar and talk to you about sometimes in a club you're going to have a toxic person. Sometimes you're going to have a negative club environment. And the first thing you want to do is leave and never come back. But may I suggest that instead of doing that, talk to an officer, talk to someone in the club that you really feel comfortable with, and share that with them. Because we want this club to be for everybody. And if one person is spoiling it for you, or there's something going on continually that's making it negative, you can be sure that it's probably bothering other people. And we can't change if we don't know about that at all. So, see what you think about this. See if you have anything that you want to suggest to us. And that you already know that if we can make the best club climate here, that this will happen. That we're going to have members that are going to come in and join, members that are going to stay with our club. And the 3 things that Toastmasters International recommends are setting an example, welcoming our guests, and showing the members that we care. But you already knew that. Here's Toastmasters.